Hello again, and welcome to the Midweek Words of Encouragement. This week, that is literally my topic, speaking only what is encouraging. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke to you about Jesus' words in Matthew 11, where he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." In that video, I said that this was more than an invitation, that Jesus is pleading with us to give up on the world's way of doing things and to take on his way. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's more than an invitation. Maybe it's even more than a pleading. Over the past couple years, I have started seeing a disturbing pattern in my life, one that I need to correct. I have this tendency to read negative commands as, well, just that, commands. But positive commands I read more as advice, as invitations, maybe even as pleadings, but not as commands. Most recently, this realization again came to me in my Bible reading as I read Ephesians 4:29. The NIV says this, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." Now, I have read this verse countless times, and my focus has always been on the first part, the negative command. Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. Trying to obey the command, but not viewing the rest of the verse, only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen, as a part of that same command. But as I recently thought about that verse and reread it, I started thinking about it from this standpoint. Maybe because I have been using the New Living Translation as a part of my personal reading time. Listen to what the verse says in the New Living Translation. Paul says this, "Don't use foul or abusive language." That's the first part, the negative part, and in my opinion, the easy part. But the second half of the verse says this, "Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." In the back of my head, I can hear my mom saying, "If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all." Now, my fear with that is that I will wind up looking like a monk who's taken a vow of silence. What if everything, and I mean absolutely everything I said, was good and helpful, and that all my words were only encouraging? What if I took to heart both parts of that verse, stopped saying things that were not good and helpful, and only started using my voice to say things that encouraged others? What would that look like? What would that sound like? Would my speech patterns change much? Would people better enjoy my company? Would I be a joy to be around? Would I look and sound more like Jesus? Let's face it, it's easier to just avoid doing wrong things than to proactively do right things. I guess that's why James writes in James 4:17, "Remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it." Again, from the New Living Translation. What about you? What would people say that when they come in contact with you if your conversations were like that? Were they always encouraging? Were they walking away being encouraged? As Will Bowen says, complaining is like bad breath. You notice it when it comes out of someone else's mouth, but not when it comes out of your own. Go be the church today. Live a life that brings glory and honor to God, always using your voice to encourage others.